Reminds me, John Koskinen, the I.R.S. commissioner. That guy has a certain look that reminds me of the 1930s. No offense. At a hearing yesterday, in response to a Congressman, Mick Mulvaney, I want you to listen to this. It just underscores what you already know, but it is utterly shocking. Cut 6, go.
Is the earned income tax credit only going to be available to illegal immigrants who filed taxes previously, or is it going to be available to all of them who receive Social Security numbers under the program?
This is very important. So it's bad enough that people who were here illegally, working illegally, using illegal earned income tax credits, a family could get as much as $24,000. They can go back 3 years. Now the congressman's asking, well, what about those who are here who didn't work during that period? Do they get that too? Go ahead.
It turns out, and there was a lack of clarity about that, if you get a Social Security number, you can then file for this year if you're working. And if you earned income in the 3 years before that and filed, you'll be eligible. If you did not file, you'll have to file a return, and you'll have to file to demonstrate with the same information you would anybody else would that you actually earned income and therefore were eligible. So there was some assumption that you would get the earned income tax credit automatically whether you were working or not.
So it will be available to everyone who was working even if they didn't file in the previous 3 years?
That is my understanding, yes.
And you have no idea how much this is going to cost?
I don't know how many people are going to get Social Security numbers, how many will be
True,
single.
but we do this all the time. Did the White House not ask you to estimate that?
I haven't talked to the White House about this at all.
You believe this? So if an illegal alien, now a legal alien, at least temporarily, says, yes, I've worked the last 3 years, but I haven't filed anything. Well, do you have some paperwork to prove it? Oh, let me look over here. Oh, yes, I have paperwork. Well, then they are eligible for the Earned Income Tax Credit. Now, most of us don't know what that is, the Earned Income Tax Credit. What that is in essence, is a cash payment from you to certain individuals depending on their income. And it's not earned. It's a misnomer, the Earned Income Tax Credit. If you ask me, it's a form of welfare. But in any event, that means people who are here illegally, who have worked illegally and didn't even file taxes for the last 3 years, can now go back, show the paperwork, presumably legitimate paperwork, but we know how that is in some cases, and they will get 3 years' worth of earned income tax credits. That is subsidies. That is welfare. That could go as high as, according to the news report yesterday, $24,000 for a family. How much will it cost? Nobody knows, but a hell of a lot. And it's funny, isn't it, how Obama never talks about this? It's funny how Luis Gutierrez never talks about this. It's funny how all the frauds and the fakes never talk about this. They don't give a damn. It's only your money. And you want to know why spending is utterly out of control and is going to destroy this economy? AP, and this contributes to it. The federal government ran a bigger deficit in January, pushing the imbalance so far this budget year up 6.2% from the same period a year ago. Now, this is to be expected because the CBO said that for a couple of years, it's going to flatten out, then all of a sudden, it's going to skyrocket again. But it's starting to skyrocket already. It's not flattening out. Budget deficit has gradually narrowed since 2012. Not the debt, the budget deficit. You know, it was at one point 1.4 trillion, 1.3, 1.2, and Obama likes to run around and say, I cut the deficit in half. He cut the deficit in half from 1.4 trillion. It's still the highest deficit of any presidency. And so, 6.2%, same time this year, as compared to last year. The deficit is up 6.2%. And our friends at CNSnews.com, one of the great websites, by the way, CNSnews.com, run by one of the great real reporters, Terry Jeffrey. For the first time ever, real federal tax revenues topped $1 trillion in the first 4 months of the fiscal year, October through January. Federal tax revenues hit over $1 trillion for fiscal year 2015 through January. This is astonishing. So the income from taxes on you is higher than it's ever been. The debt is higher than it's ever been. The annual deficit is increasing. And the spending is higher than it's ever been. And Obama's answer is more spending, more debt, and more taxing. Absolute moron. But then again, aren't most radicals? This is scary stuff. I talk about it every day. This is absolutely scary stuff. Now we're subsidizing illegal immigrants. Now we owe them money. This is the collapsing of a society. There's no question about it. An absolute collapsing of the society.